now, well, this was the first session, which was about experience in logosynthesis. And there was one question that was just asked about whether logosynthesis can be applied to oneself and how. And yes, logosynthesis can be applied to oneself, as we just mentioned. But there's much more than that. There are many opportunities in your journey when you become a part of logosynthesis community. And to talk about these possibilities, today we have Christin Aannerud. She's the chair of the certification committee at LIA, the Logosynthesis International Association. And together with her, we also have Angelika von Hubatius, who will also share her testimonial on her journey in logosynthesis. So for this, I give you the floor, Christin.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much, Alan, for the word. I'm touched after this past session now from Pamela, and that's what I actually love about logosynthesis. But to start with me, I'm Christin Aannerud, and I'm a coach and a trainer in logosynthesis. I was born in Norway and I grew up there. So I came to Switzerland around 30 years ago, but my mother tongue isn't English. So this was an issue I had to work on before I'm in front of 150 people here. But I learned a lot about it, a lot. I got to issues from my past through this. Yes, and I started my career as a civil engineer and not from either from the coaching, not from law, but civil engineering. And also I liked what you said about head bumps. I think that's a path of a lot of people, how I got to where I am today. And I'm so grateful for where I am today with this logosynthesis. Really, it has changed my life. I can say so. And I wouldn't be here if it wouldn't have been for that. What I love about logosynthesis is what also Pamela said now. It's a continuous process for me. I'm learning all the time. I'm not finished, even if I am a trainer and if I am a coach. I love my work, what I'm doing, but in everyday life and all the time, bound energy is coming up. So for a long time, I just had my private practice and I did trainings in logosynthesis and I loved it. And at some point, 3/4 of a year ago, William asked me for the third time, will you be the chair of the certification committee of the LIA? And at the third time, I said yes, because it felt like it's the next step on my path with logosynthesis. And there a part is coming up, which is in logosynthesis for me, and this is about what I'm here for. It was something inside me telling me that's what you're here for, even if you don't like regulations, because I don't love regulations actually. And being in the certification committee of the LIA is a lot about regulations, but it's about this gap between regulations and free energy. And that's the challenge about it. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing actually. And why I'm loving it also, even if it's often a challenge, lots of times to solve blockages again, but it's great. Yes, now I would like to share a screen with you so you can see. I want to talk about the journey, how your process could be going with logosynthesis if you are. I can't share screen now, can I, Alan?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, yeah, now, okay. There you are. Which path you can go depending on where you are standing and where you are in your path and what you know about logosynthesis, if you know something, and if you don't know anything, what could be the start of going with it. The books is the first thing I want to talk about. Then I want to talk about logosynthesis for everybody. Some things of these have been mentioned already in Pamela, but I don't think in Pamela's session, but I don't think that matters if you hear it twice. And then logosynthesis for coaches, therapists, counselors, and pedagogues. If you have qualification before, what could be your path, the practitioner curriculum. And here is also where Angelika von Hubatius will tell us about her journey with logosynthesis. She has just finished the practitioner and the instructor. Yeah. So we have a great, immense amount of books here already. You see, they are in English language, all of them except the one from Carsten Blauel and Matthias Ecker here. And most of them are translated into German, not the ones of Kathy. And here is the newest one from Miriam. It isn't on the market yet. It will come, I think, in a couple of months for children. I think that's great. And I want to go into a couple of these books. Oops, what happened? Sorry. I don't know what I did now. I'll have to stop and start again, sorry. Here we go. Do you see it yet or not? There we go.
There
we go. Yeah. Okay, these are the books I recommend highly for the starters. If you have never heard about logosynthesis, Letting It Go, written by Lori Weiss. That's great. That's really kind of a receipt book. You can just follow what's going on there and you can start doing some self-coaching with that on easy issues. That's what Willem said before. I don't recommend doing deep or difficult issues just everyday distress. You know, for example, you're sitting in a traffic jam and you can start with that simple thing, the distress coming up when you're in there, for instance. And then also the second book, that's the book of the newest one of that Willem has written. Here you get a little bit more background information also about the model, not just a technique around logosynthesis, but the whole model of it. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Try this out, but it doesn't.
Is there, yeah. So maybe instead of showing the presentation, just share the PowerPoint screen and we can see it from there.
Yes, okay. Here we are.
Right.
You see it now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we have these books I talked about, and then I also recommend these books. That's some of the first books William wrote. They are really going a bit deeper, but the self-coaching book is also good and has a bit more background information than Letting Go from Lori Weiss. And also the second book here, the Logosynthesis Healing with Words. That's a book for therapists and coaches. Also, if you are a starter, I recommend you to read these books even before you perhaps go to a seminar or something. Yes.
So if I may share a comment, one of the things that I love about these books is that every time I reread them, I find something new. Like there's always these small details that make the difference. You know, one of the things that I notice about the work we do with logosynthesis is that it's so filled with subtleties, and these subtleties make a big difference in our work. And every time I go through this book, there's always something new we can pick up for our practice or for self-coaching as well.
Thank you for that, Alan. I also recommend you to read these books more times than I've done it. I think I read them around 5 times or something, especially these two ones and the last one that William has written now. Okay, then I want to continue. What you can do if you don't have any experience with logosynthesis yet, of course you can, besides reading the book, also go to the practitioners and have sessions one-to-one. And all the practitioners, you will find them on the LIA website, and I'll come back to that afterwards. But you can start with doing a self-coaching seminar, self-coaching with logosynthesis. That's kind of the basic seminar if you don't have any qualifications. You can start there, reading the books, and then going to these self-coaching seminars. We have them in English and in German. You also find them on the LIA website. And you can also do special topic seminars like Mission Lab, stress. If you are interested in stress and burnout and the power of words, you can go to that. Procrastination, money seminars, time. And then I have I found two German seminars, Präsenz und Klarheit in der Erziehung. That's around raising children. That's especially for the people, German-speaking people now in this group. And then we have a bigger symposium in March that's also in German. So that's what's possible to do for you if you have no background qualifications, or if you want to get in touch with logosynthesis and see how it works as a first step. And if you don't, I want to also talk about the 3 years counseling diploma training. That's in German. I'm sorry for all of you speaking English, and still it's very important for me that if you don't have any skills in building up a relationship, you know, like coaching, like therapist, like pedagogue, you can do this 3 years counseling diploma training in the Institute für Logosynthese in Switzerland. That's in German. I just wanted to mention that this is also a possibility if you want to go really deep into it, and if you wish to start working with logosynthesis as a counselor without a background. Okay. Mm. So now I'm sorry that
wonderful opportunity. I was just wanted to comment. That's a wonderful opportunity you're mentioning there, because there are many of us that come into logosynthesis because we would seek to personally develop ourselves. But then in half of the journey, we realize that part of our mission involves helping others heal and develop also. So this diploma is perfect for those who want to take it further.
And it is.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really, really a great path to go for personal work, and also at the same time learning about counseling and coaching.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So now we come to the curriculum of the logosynthesis practitioner. Here, this is open to people who have background in counseling, coaching, therapy, pedagogics. You cannot start here without anything of that. That's important to me, because you need to know how to build up a relationship before you start this. So here we start with the basic seminar. This is the first seminar, and here it's about techniques. That's my experience in being a training here. It's really learning the sentences, learning in the pauses how long to wait. It's quite a technical seminar. And most people, they love it after this basic, and they want to continue. Lots of them say, oh, but this isn't actually so difficult. And then they realize in the path seminars and in starting working with logosynthesis that it isn't that easy as it seems at the beginning to get also trigger reaction. What is the trigger really and what is the reaction? I also see that often in the written papers that this is difficult for people to get. The next step on this path, that's the path seminars, the three of them, the path of the will, the path of trust, and the path of courage. And here you also learn a little bit more about techniques, but it's mainly also about the personal process here. What happens to me in these seminars? And here often issues of the participants show up, and you can really start to work on them in these three topic seminars. And I have to say, for the basic and for the past seminars, they are, if you're doing them on site, they are 3 days. And if you're doing them online, they are 5 times 2 hours, and then practice groups in between. So that's also clear, but all this, what I'm saying here, it's very clear, defined on the LIA website as well. And then we have the Logosynthesis Live seminar. This is a seminar where we work with the topics of the participants one after the other. It's no technique to say it like that in this seminar. It's what's coming up. We are working with it in demos and also in the practice groups in between. And you're learning through looking at how the trainer is working, you know, like Pamela did before. You're learning through looking at, and you also bring in your own issues and you work on them in front of the group. And that's, I think that's the beauty also about logosynthesis. I know how I was scared at the beginning and sitting in front of the group, and like also Harriet did now, you know, in front of 150 people. But when you're in this process, you don't realize it. And really something happens, something different happens when you're a client in front of a group than when you're working one-to-one in the practice. It has to do with energy as well. You have to experience it. And of course, supervision is part of the curriculum for the logosynthesis practitioner. That should be clear for everybody who is working as counselor or a coach or a therapist. I think that's normal all the way. And then we have the practice groups, and they are meant that people can work with each other in small groups. Also, not only as the practice groups are part of the past seminars, of the basic and of the logosynthesis live, but it's also something that participants create in between and to work in like intervention groups. You work in different roles. You are a client, you are the guide, you have coaches who can support the guide, and you have critics. So you learn a lot in these practice groups, and they're immense important. I can say that for myself. I'm still in one, and it's great. And after you have done this, you have to write a paper. The paper is around 5,000 to 6,000 words about your own process throughout the curriculum and about one case study, and to reflect on that case study. That's what the paper is about. And now I want to mention also the summer conference, because that's a heart piece for me personal of the curriculum, or a part of the logosynthesis group as a whole. In the summer conference, you can take part if you have attended at least the basic seminar. And the summer conference is a place where people are meeting from all over the world who are who are connected to logosynthesis, and it's a great opportunity to meet. Now we are online, but the summer conference, there you meet live. I hope that will be soon again. We don't have to do it online, but it might be this year that it will be online. Meet people thinking in the same direction as you do. And we work in different groups, and it's great learning with theory and with demos and practice groups and working groups. So I love that format, actually. Okay, and when you're finished with the practitioner paper, I don't want, with the practitioner curriculum, I don't want to go into what's in details, what's coming afterwards, but I'm just telling so you know what's to come. Then you can do the instructor. That's a short workshop. And if you have this workshop, you are able to give the Logosynthesis self-coaching course to others as a small trainer, I will say. But it's not the same as the trainer, huh? So that's clear. That's only for the self-coaching course. And then you can go for the master practitioner. That is, but there you need at least two years to go after practitioner. And then is the trainer is coming after that. But I will not go into details here, because you'll find everything you need on the homepage if you're there and interested in that. Okay, now I would like to introduce Angelika. Before we start there, Angelika, I'm very happy that you're here and you'll tell something about your path with the practitioner. Angelika, she is, now I have to look on my papers, she is a certified business coach and trainer, because she has a long list. Since 20 years, she's giving certified training in NLP and coaching. She is a systemic coach and a master coach, and she has a private practice for coaching, training, and consulting. And last but not least, she's a practitioner and an instructor in logosynthesis. But now, after I looked at your homepage, Angelika, I thought, whoa, she has a great curriculum, this Angelika. Why did you decide to do logosynthesis?
Well, sometimes I'm asking myself that too, especially during the last few weeks of writing the paper. First of all, I heard about logosynthesis about 2014. A friend of mine recommended to me Wilhelm's book, Logosynthesis, Healing with Words. And I read it and I was totally fascinated. And beside of that, I found myself recommending it to everybody. I told everybody about this new method, even if they didn't want to hear it, you know. So I just was so totally fascinated. It brought together everything I was learning up till then. So it was just an enlightenment for me. But I didn't do the courses.
You just read the books and you were fascinated. Yeah,
I was fascinated. I tried out with self-coaching, sometimes with friends, with some clients. And I thought, well, that's it. As we heard today very often, 3 or 4 sentences, that's okay. And
so at
then
the beginning, sorry.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you just thought, okay, this is easy and it works and it's about giving sentences.
Yeah. Well, I read the book twice and I was searching all over the internet about any further informations and looked at those YouTube videos, demonstrations, whatever, you know. And then I decided to do a course like The Life with Wilhelm and you. And that was, wow. I thought, well, that's just incredible. What possibilities would that make up for me as a coach too? And I decided to go to the practitioner training finally, after
And
years.
after years. And how did you experience the practitioner training, the whole curriculum? Tell me something. What changed for you through that?
It was quite fascinated because, well, I was working with energy work years before, but this was different. And I thought for me as a coach would be just incredible to have words to do an energetic work. And I was quite astonished about myself too, because I learned it's not so easy to think in energy. Yeah, but for me, it was it was a time I heard a call for me to recognize where I stand in my life, what I still want to have in my life, and what is just outlived, you know?
So you
And,
recognized where your path is continuing through
right.
this curriculum, this logosynthesis,
Right.
as I
Yeah.
understand you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And all those possibilities. I mean, you mentioned some techniques. It's incredible what's possible with logosynthesis.
Mhm. Mhm.
I learned during the practitioner training.
Mhm.
It's far more than only 4 sentences or 3 sentences.
Mhm. 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 How has logosynthesis changed your work with clients?
Well, through logosynthesis, I have the possibility to include also energetic things in my coachings. And first of all, I changed during those trainings. And well, from today's perspective, I would say today I know how well this practitioner training prepared me for what was to come last year. Because 2020 was a very, very a challenging time for all of us. And so it was for my clients too. And there were many uncertainties, many challenges for business and private. And it turned out that old strategies don't work anymore, because it was a completely new situations for all of us. And this helped a lot to work with the clients on in another way, to help them get along with their feelings, with the stress occurring, with all those pressure, and to go more creative with what occurs and what is, you know.
And so, if I understand you right, this has a lot to do with your own process. What happened to you?
Yeah.
You changed, and that it made
Yeah.
it possible for you to work
Yeah.
different with your
Yeah.
clients
Yeah.
and to support them
Yeah.
better through this COVID
Yeah.
year.
Well,
Mhm.
I had the same challenges like them, you know.
Mhm.
I had to do lots of self-coachings to this part too.
Mhm.
And I was lucky to have a wonderful practice group
Mhm.
to go through the whole year and to go through all those challenges and even talk about experiences we had with clients. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm. So this practice group is also very important for you. How often do
very
you meet?
important. We meet every week.
You meet every week. Oh, it's very
Every
intense
week.
then.
We are, yeah, some kind of tough.
Mhm, mhm,
No,
mhm,
it's for working, it's
mhm.
for practicing, and it's all for also for discussing our experiences. You know,
Mhm.
it helps a lot, I think.
That's great
Yeah,
that you're doing different levels of work in the
right.
practice group through that you're
Yeah,
doing it so
yeah,
often. Mhm,
yeah.
mhm,
It's like
mhm,
an onion.
mhm, mhm. Thank you also
Yeah,
for that. Also the importance of the practice group there. Yeah.
yeah.
Why would you recommend people in here? There are 154 people in here. Why would you recommend a lot of them to start with
Well, I
logosynthesis?
have seen there are lots of also already practicing logosynthesis, but I could recommend to everybody who wants to deepen his practice for logosynthesis and coaching. And I think it's also a preparing for the future, because I'm convinced that the future will be completely different. We won't go back to the year to 2019. We won't.
Mhm,
There will be lots of differences, and I think logosynthesis can help to meet all those challenges and to go with the flow.
to go with the flow, yes, and I think that's important for
Yeah.
all of us. And this is a help if
Yes.
each of us are doing our work when you're saying that
Yeah.
for the future, actually.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
For sure.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Angelika. We are at the end of time.
I thank
So
you.
thank you that you answered my questions here and you showed
Mm,
people what the importance and why
yeah.
logosynthesis was so important for you. Thank you.
I thank you, Christine.
I would like to thank everybody, but before I do that, I would like to share screen again. So you can have this homepage, this website of the LIA. That's important for me to see that you see that. But I think you will send out emails afterwards, Alan. Am I right? Also
Yes.
with this email, with this homepage, with this website address, because you find all I've said here. You find it online there with the regulations, how you can do a practitioner on all the seminars and all the practitioners. You find everything there, and it should be up to date now. I hope so. I
Absolutely.
thank
Yes,
you
we'll make sure to
so
send it.
much for organizing this, Alan, and also Kathy, and all of the people being involved in it. That it's a pleasure being here with you and the whole group, and I feel held here. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. It's been an inspirational session.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just before we move on to a quick break of 10 minutes, I would like to know if you guys have questions for Christin and Angelika. So one of the questions that we get is, do you need to have read the books before taking the self-coaching course? I see there's one in Canada this week.
It's for sure helpful, but if you don't have it, you can go to self-coaching and you can read it throughout or afterwards. It's not absolutely necessary, but it, of course, is helpful that you know something about it. But it isn't a must for this. It's a must reading the books if you go to the online um, practitioner curriculum, that you have read them before you start on basic there.
Mhm. Do we have more questions? So I do have one question.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the summer conference. One of the things that I'm curious about the summer conference is how is it that we can work together when every participant is probably in a different level of development or training in logosynthesis? How does this work?
The beauty about it is that is possible because we are mixed. So the ones who are more experienced, they give something further on to the ones who are not that experienced. And it's all about energy. And when we are in this energy, it works. And that's the beauty about it, that there are different levels to it, really. That's what makes it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Karen is asking us, I'm a certified EFT practitioner and certified body code practitioner. Is this enough to do the training?
I believe so, but I connect with me if you're not sure. That's for everybody. Connect if you're not sure if your background is enough. But as I'm hearing that, I believe it would be enough. Yes.
In case they would like to connect with you, where can they find your information?
All of that is on the LEA homepage. Also, my email address is in there. Certification at lea.international.